Hey guys, this is Peet from the FreedomInGod channel, and in this video I will be talking about prosperity gospel. I honestly thought this was something Christians would not fall for, but I see this a lot these days. Some brothers and sisters believe following Christ will give them fortune in their life. Prosperity gospel is not biblical, and in fact the truth is, it's the opposite. You see, when you follow Christ, you are not from the world anymore or the things thereof. In 1 John 2:15 we read, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If a man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever." When you follow Christ, you take up your cross, and this symbolizes tribulation and hardships. There is a war going on, and the world is not for God. So when you follow Christ, the world is not for you anymore. Jesus said in John 15, "If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you." Jesus even said in John 16:33 that in the world ye shall have tribulation. So I definitely don't agree with some Christians when they claim God will give them a good life and prosperity when they follow Christ, because that won't happen. And as some preachers like Joel Osteen falsely preach this gospel, the first thing some Christians will do when it gets bad is wonder why God is doing this and fall away from the faith, not realizing it's not from God and it's not what God promises. Paul warned Timothy about such men in 1 Timothy 6:5 verses 9 to 11. These men of corrupt minds supposed godliness was a means of gain, and their desire for riches was a trap that brought them into ruin and destruction. The pursuit of wealth is a dangerous path for Christians, and one which God warns about, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. If riches were a reasonable goal for the godly, Jesus would have pursued it, but he didn't, preferring instead to have no place to lay his head in Matthew 8 verse 20, and teaching his disciples to do the same. It should also be remembered that the only disciple concerned with wealth was Judas. Look at how the 12 apostles lived. Peter and Paul were both martyred in Rome. Paul was beheaded, Peter was crucified upside down at his request, since he did not feel he was worthy to die in the same manner as his Lord. Matthew, the tax collector and the writer of the gospel, was stabbed to death in Ethiopia. Philip was arrested and cruelly put to death for preaching the gospel. James was stoned and then clubbed to death. Only John was not martyred, but he was exiled to the island of Patmos, where he wrote the last book of the New Testament, the Revelation. He did not live in prosperity. Today, in other countries, Christians are dying for their faith, such as in North Korea, India, China, Saudi Arabia, etc. These brothers and sisters in Christ are not receiving prosperity when preaching the gospel and following Christ. So I'm going to be blunt. When you follow Christ, you will face struggles and even may be persecuted to the point where you will have to lay down your life for God, as Jesus laid down his life for you. Everything in this world and all possessions you have will pass away, and when you die, you won't take a drop with you. Now, if you are someone with a fortune, I'm not saying go and sell everything you have and starve yourself. But what I am saying is, you don't need to buy that new Mercedes-Benz or 4-story house. Rather, invest your earthly fortune in God, which is eternal. You see, at the end of the day, it will all be worth it. When you follow God, you possibly will suffer in this world, but you will receive far greater things in heaven than anything in this world can offer. I love this quote from John Piper. It reads, "Prosperity cannot be a proof of God's favor, since it is what Satan promises to those who worship him." We as followers of Christ should not be pursuing riches and fortune. Instead, we should be leading souls to Christ, because that is eternal. Material things are temporary and will burn away. This is not our home. Our home is in heaven with God. So let's do what Jesus Christ commanded us to do in Mark 16 verse 15. "Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." Remember, brothers and sisters, we are together in this war and the Lord is with us. And always take heed that God wins in the end. And God will make all things new again, where we will never have to face any hardships again. So when tribulation comes, stay steadfast, because it will all be worth it. Thank you everyone for watching, and remember, there is only true freedom in Christ our God. Have a blessed day, guys.